Hot Takes Toast brought to you by Siegfried and Jensen with 30 years of serving Utah. Reaction coming into the games over the weekend. How about that gutty win by the Cougars?
Oh, we will be victorious.
Christopher's just throwing cold water all over it. We had the same optimism last year after 3 wins, including at Arkansas.
Okay.
If the offense doesn't get their act together, we're in for another long and difficult season.
Brutal. They're not going to get their act together. Just give it up. Start worrying about basketball. Yeah, I mean, you did. I mean, that's a fact. You can't argue it. Your quarterback got hurt, and things went to pot. At least now you've got guys who have experience behind Retzlaff. I thought they might make a change. I was anticipating it. But they didn't. And it worked out. They won the ball game. I don't know now if that compounds it. So if they get in the first half or in the third quarter next week in the offense or this week and the offense isn't doing anything, well, now you got 2. So do you go ahead and make the change at that point? Remains to be seen. And
I thought when times got tough, and I'm with you, I wondered if they were going to make a change, but I thought they leaned a little heavier on the quarterback run game, and then since it worked, that took the pressure off and didn't need to make the change.
Yeah, but I mean, Bohannon, you can argue, is a better runner. I don't know if but Retzlaff is fine. If Bohannon's a better runner, I don't think it's substantially better. Retzlaff has athleticism. He can move around. There's no doubt about it. And he's got size. He's not super big, but he's not smaller either. Obviously, having stood next to him. So he can move around, and I think he's got good instincts as a runner.
I do think, to your point, what are Kalani and A-Rod thinking if there's another stretch of 3 and outs?
Right.
Or if there's more turnovers, depending on what the turnovers look like.
Yeah, I mean, tip
passes might not hold him responsible for that.
Drops the ball.
Right, yeah.
Or he gets a strip sack because somebody blinds him.
Blindside, right.
Those things happen. You can't.
But if there's turnovers, you look at it and think, well, that shouldn't be happening. Mm-hmm. How quick is the hook now?
Yeah, and that's something that they have to figure out and massage to the best of their ability and what's best interest for the team.
And they can argue either way. Well, now they've seen him turn it around in the middle of the game, so maybe they would trust him to turn around.
Yeah, but it was about the play calling, I think, too.
What was about the play calling?
The running.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how he turned it around.
Yep.
He didn't turn around sitting in the pocket picking him apart.
Nope.
It was they said what they told me in March is they were going to utilize the run game. And Jake Scott, I know you're listening. You made fun of that. Well, ha. You've got egg on your face now, buddy.
Because it not only opened up the run game, but then it opened up other big plays off it.
Clearly did.
The direct snap and then the handoff pitch to him. And so
very tricky.
People are defending the direct snap, but they're aware there's something else coming. Oh, now he's going to run it, but they weren't ready for the throw to the tight end.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The deception that sets up the decoy that sets up the play, which is the same way jet sweep. No, it's a quarterback key. Oh, it's an option. The third one got him.
Whatever you need to do to move the ball. And that's what they did. So utilize, if needed, Retzlaff, run them as much as you need. And that's what it boiled down to. They needed him to do that to win the game. And that's a risk that you're willing to take. That's football, right? That's where you have to utilize the quarterback in whichever way to win the game. Now, you can argue with Rising, he doesn't need to run to win the game. BYU needed Retzlaff to run to win the game. And that was a fact. And they needed to win that game. They need to pile up as many wins as they possibly can. And because they may have a game or two that you get deep in the second half and it's not winnable. This one obviously, with that defensive effort, would be winnable. If they get a defensive effort close to that in the remaining, what do they got, 10 games? However many games they can get a defensive effort like that, you will be in the game.
Average college score is usually somewhere in the high 20s or right at 30 points a game. So when your defense is holding people in the teens, you got to win.
Right.
And you can't be that far out of it. I mean, you're only down 2 scores if they're only giving up 2 scores.
That would have been a nasty loss. You don't want to waste an effort like that from the other side of the football. And I think that those guys, those dudes, they got some guys that can play defensively. And so that's what's really cool about that, is that it wasn't like, oh, that was a one-shot deal. The Glasgow kid really impressed me, man, with his ability to move around. He came in and did post-game. He's a big kid. He's got ability. He might be a pro-type guy down the line. He's going to get a shot because usually BYU's put a number of linebackers in the NFL, and we say this about Utah. If you're starting at certain positions young, you probably have an opportunity to play pro. Well, linebacker, BYU has proven that too. And so that's something that they could really build upon. And they brought pressure from different spots, great game calling. You can't say enough about that defensive effort. And now every one of them is like, okay, we thought we could do this. Well, now you know you can do it, man. You know you can do it.
Did it on the road. Kept them out of the end zone.
Right. That's where I'm super excited to see what they can do, how much they can build upon it, how much they can maintain it. What do they got going on there defensively?
That'll look good this week. Wyoming's offense has been struggling here through the first 2 games, and the BYU defense has looked really good through the first 2 games. You would think those trends would continue. I know. You never know. That's why I went with think. You would think they continue.
Yeah. I mean, it's still one game that they played against somebody at their level. And so I can't say, oh, man, this defense is going to be lights out. And we compare everything to each other. And Utah's defense, a lot of proven commodities, so they're not doing this for the first time. The defensive for Utah doesn't really need a coming-out performance because so many of the guys have played, the 2 linebackers, and we'll speak to Kenny Reed here in about 20 minutes. This guy seems like he's been doing it for 5-6 years. And Barton, he knows what he's doing there too. And the guys up front, O'Toole was injured last year. Well, boom, he gets a big sack this year, or strip sack, I think it was there. And Fillinger, this guy's a senior now. They've been in these situations many times over. For BYU, it's a little bit more of a difference that they've got to back it up. They got to prove it again. I think they can, but I'm going to go with the word think. Because obviously if you're losing to Idaho, but maybe Idaho is one of these teams that Idaho doesn't get the credit because they've bounced around from divisions and they move back. When you play one of the Montanas or the Dakotas, oh, man, they're a really good team.
Well, I was curious about this, so I looked it up, and the Dakotas are the top 2 ranked teams. The Montanas are ranked 3 and 4, and Idaho's 7. So Idaho's good.
You want to know how good Idaho is? Utah took a running back off of their roster. Now, Anthony Woods has a torn ACL, but they thought he was going to be a difference maker.
So we don't.
But they
Idaho,
see Big 12 talent.
Idaho used to be really good at that level. Then they moved up, right? Mm-hmm. Now they're back. So maybe that's where they need to be, and they're just a lot better than we thought. Because if it would have been like South Dakota State, was it North Dakota? Who played Colorado?
South Dakota State.
Yeah. Well, they're getting all sorts of praise. It was deservedly so.
It was North Dakota State who played Colorado. South Dakota State played Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
Right. That's
why
I asked.
You're right.
Because I knew that that both of them played.
But South Dakota State had the 29-game win streak.
Yeah, and we talk about them.
Yeah.
Well, so maybe Idaho belongs in that conversation. We'll see in December if they get a bid and away they go. But maybe they're just a lot better than we thought.
They've got something going. To what degree?
Well, yeah. I mean, they freaking battled Oregon, which I've been saying all year. I don't believe in Dylan Gabriel as a big-time quarterback. I don't know why he was the favorite to be the Heisman guy. I don't see it. Once you start going to your third school, that just, wait a second here.
And that was a good win for them against Boise. So I think that means the Idaho performance up there, we were impressed by it. It stands up. To your point about Gabriel, they got 2 special teams touchdowns in a 37-34 win.
Right.
Now, he doesn't get to go out on the field because of that, because now the defense is back out there, but nonetheless.
Yeah, so I'm a little hesitant, but Wyoming, you got blown out by a team picked 16th in the Big 12.
Okay, but that might be a bad pick, too.
We're nobody. We got nothing.
I know. Thank you.
We're all a piece of crap.
You and Dillingham might as well be politicians at a convention with the joined hands and the raising. And
I'm just hearing what the leader says from the program. What do you want from me, man?
I mean, the second half changed, but like 6 quarters into the season, you're like, what are you, like the 4 Horsemen or something? Or like,
hey, going by what the guy
one
says.
One of Nick Saban's best teams? What are you doing there? He came back to earth a little in the second half.
I didn't watch the second half.
It was 30-3.
I know what the score.
Finished 30-23.
I watched the first half.
So it came back to earth in the second half.
I wasn't. I had to get up early. I had
defense.
To be,
you had to get on an airplane. Yeah.
Right. So I had to be available to move about the cabin.
Although the clutchiness of the offense, when the game tightens up and there's 5.5 minutes left or whatever, and they always have that 4-minute drill. Offenses work on killing off the last 4 minutes of the game, but they converted a 4th down and 12 plays, 50 yards, never gave them the ball back. That was for a non-scoring drive, that was really good.
Well, they could have scored.
Yeah. But they were here to run out the clock.
They were coached to run out the clock.
Right. They did what they had to do to win the game.
Yeah, he talked about that.
That was impressive.
But being blown out, nevertheless, and then losing to Idaho in a way that just increases the pressure on BYU. Because now you're expected to win.
I think what you said earlier. Oh, yeah.
And Kalani spoke multiple times last week about the other guy being favored.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that this week.
He played the underdog, and it worked. Yeah. It worked. He pressed the right buttons and got the performance out of him. But they are 8.5-point favorites in this game. And you're right what you said earlier, like Wyoming, all sorts of frustration, but at least beat BYU. They know what the people want.
I think that they need to have the Laramie South missionaries at this ball game.
You think that was the key?
Uh-huh. Laramie South, even better.
Laramie South. Not Laramie North.
Didn't they? They put on the thing on the scoreboard.
Dallas.
It was a Dallas North or Dallas. I mean, I saw it.
Yeah, but Dallas has multiple missions.
Right.
Yeah, but Laramie.
Dallas is
small.
Dallas is one of the biggest cities in America, and Laramie's got 3 exits.
But
does it have 3?
I don't know. I drove through it once. I didn't count.
Yeah, I'm not sure it has 3.
It might have 2.
It might have 2?
At best.
It ain't big.
No, it definitely has 2.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a growing area.
Oh, yeah. Thriving.
I know because we got off and we got back on a different exit. I know there were 2. I can't guarantee 3.
My first experience in Laramie, driving up there and getting off the main exit to, don't look it up.
Go ahead.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
Go ahead. Tell your story about you were up there back in the day.
And I pull off, get off I-80. I'm coming up I-25 and then over and get off. And I am behind a truck. And there's a bumper sticker on the back of the truck. It says, ditch the... And it rhymes with ditch. Let's go hunting.
Welcome to Laramie.
And I'd heard so much about it, and I had to laugh about it because the bumper sticker made me laugh. But I will say my experiences with the folks of Laramie, outstanding. Especially the ones who work for the university, super nice, super helpful. They did everything possible to make your stay enjoyable, and it was as professionally run as any program that I've been at, and I've been at many of them throughout the country. So I have a warm spot for the folks of Laramie. And I know some of them can get out of hand. I get that. But I think that
wear your helmet out of the locker room in pregame.
The overwhelming majority are great people, salt-of-the-earth type people. I sort of root for Wyoming because they're obviously, man, they're way underdogs. I mean, come on.
Yep.
And anytime they can have success, and Bowl did a phenomenal job there, and we'll see what happens. I felt bad when I saw the score that they lost to Idaho. And I think they'll lose to BYU. I think they'll be 0-3. We'll see.
DJ and PK, reaction to the Utes and their win and Cam Rising's injury next.